This session we are going to understand some of the most commonly used terminologies like the cluster, like the nodes, VMs or workers, like what is a master node, and then we are going to see what are HDDs and what are SSDs. Rather than what are, we'll just get the definition or just the high level understanding of HDDs and SSDs, because see, these terminologies we are going to use quite often when we go into the our further session. So just to have a very basic idea, that's the reason I'm creating this slide, because when we go in depth we don't want to go back and see what is a cluster and these many basic things. Make sense? Perfect. Now we'll see what is a cluster. So a cluster is a group of machines or VMs, okay, which work together in the sense you can call it as parallelly as a one system to process the data and to compute anything. Rather, most of the time we use to process the data. So just think of a cluster as a factory. Okay, so because see, relatively if the factory has only one worker, right, then the efficiency is definitely quite less, or it's almost zero, no efficiency at all. But if we have many workers who are working together, and more importantly if they are working parallelly, then the efficiency definitely going to increase by many folds. Make sense? So let's go to the blackboard and we'll draw a very basic diagram so that you will get a clear understanding of what the cluster is all about. Okay, so now like I said, cluster is one whole system. Okay, and in this system we have many machines. You can call these as machines or workers or VMs, whatever you feel comfortable. So this is worker 1, worker 2, worker 3 and worker 4. Okay, so this collaboration of these worker constitutes one cluster. So this is what cluster is all about. It's a collection of machines and which will carry out the task parallelly. Okay, so what happens is, let me quickly tell you what happens when a task is given to the cluster. The task basically is going to divide it, right, and the task is being divided to across these four workers or four people or four machines, and these machines or workers will execute the task parallelly. So this is very important. That's the reason the efficiency will be increased by many folds, and this will give you the output as a consolidated output very fast. Why it's fast? Because instead of one VM, one worker, I have four workers which are who are working parallelly and they are working together. So this overall setup is known as cluster. Because when we go to one of the service in Google Cloud, that's Dataproc, there we will be using this word quite often because the Dataproc is itself based on a cluster. So at that time, if you understand what a cluster is all about, then it's quite easy to get the stuff easily when we are dealing with the Dataproc. Make sense? Let's go to the slide and then we'll see what is a node, what is a VM or what is workers. All these three are same. When I go to diagram again, this is called a node. The computers, the machines, the systems, the workers or VMs, these are nothing but the individual machines who are carrying the task independently. So these machines are known as workers. Now we'll see what is a master node. Okay, let me erase this so that you'll get a good understanding of master nodes. Okay, I will just have three workers because space is not that, my drawing is also not that good. Okay, so there is a master node. So a master node is just like your project manager. Okay, usually the master node is one who manages the task, but he will not do the real task. The real task or the processing is done by these many workers. These are the people who do the actual task, but Master node is like a boss who organizes or who manages all the data processing that has done by the workers. He manages all the things. That's the reason he is just like a boss. So you can call master node as main node or brain of the cluster, who do not actually process the data but acts like a manager, because he assigns the task, he divides the task, and he will distribute the task, and he will make sure he has got the information about the task in a form of metadata. Right, that's a different story. We will definitely deal with that, but think that master node who manages your cluster, as simple as that. Make sense? So let's move to the next slide. So in this slide, we have learned what a cluster is, what are nodes or VMs or workers, and what do we mean by a master node. Perfect. So next is what is HDD and what is SSD. Okay, let me go this and let me erase this and let me draw a diagram for you so that you can understand this better. So let me just have only two workers or two VMs. Okay, so HDD, it means hard disk drive. So in a VM, it's simply a storage disk, just like the hard disk in your laptop or your desktop. So this is just a kind of storage disks which is attached to your VM, just like the hard disk of your laptop. Make sense? And what is SSDs? This stands for solid state drive. This is also a storage, but you can use it whenever you want. And to use this, you have to pay some extra amount. Okay, so SSD is basically used as a catalyst and it is quite expensive than HDD. See, both SSDs, this is HDD, okay, both HDD and SSDs are used for storage, but this is not fast as SSDs. If you want to boost the performance of this VM, you can attach SSD physically. Okay, just like you are using your pen drive for your laptop. Actually, pen drive is just for storage part, but here also SSD is for storage, but this is much faster and more efficient than HDDs. As simple as that. Sometimes in the questions examination, they may just give one use case saying that there is one cluster and I want to increase the efficiency, but and I don't want to worry about the cost. I'm ready to pay anything. So how efficiently you can improve the efficiency of a cluster? There may be an option saying that you can attach extra what is that extra SSDs, right? So that could be one of the options. So I mean, the use case or the questions may be in these forms as well. Make sense? Yep, so that's all in this video, guys. I hope this is quite clear. So in the next session, we are going to see what is distributed system and what we mean by on-premise and what exactly when we say like move on-premises to the Google Cloud means. So hope this is clear for you as of now. That's all in this video. See you in the next session very soon. Thanks and have a good day. Bye.